A big silly season domino has fallen as Ricky Stenhouse Jr. has signed a multi-year contract extension with JTG Daugherty Racing. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel and welcome back to the video. As I just said a second ago, we've got some pretty major breaking news as it has been announced that Ricky Stenhouse Jr. has signed a multi-year contract extension with JTG Daugherty. According to many reporters, including Jordan Bianchi, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and JTG Daugherty Racing have agreed to a multi-year contract extension. The NASCAR Cup Series team announced Thursday. Stenhouse's contract was set to expire at the end of this season. Now, I don't know how long the deal the Stenhouse has got with JTG Daugherty Racing, but for what I think, it's probably a 2 to 3 year extension. When you hear the word multi-year, it usually means around 2 to 3 years. Like I just said a second ago, Ricky Stenhouse Jr.'s contract was supposed to expire at the end of this year. This is really, really huge for not only Ricky Stenhouse Jr., but JTG Daugherty Racing, because there's been a lot of chatter and a lot of rumors over the course of the last few weeks that JTG Daugherty Racing could be losing some pretty big sponsorship with Kroger at the end of this year. And I thought if Kroger was leaving, I thought there was a chance that JTG Daugherty Racing could be shutting down at the end of this year. With them re-signing Ricky Stenhouse Jr. for 3 years, it sounds like JT Daugherty Racing is going to stick around. Now, this does not mean that Kroger is going to be sticking around. It still could mean that Kroger could be headed over there, but it also could mean that Tad and Jody could be switching over to Toyota, perhaps. That could certainly be a possibility going into next year. Now, when you look at Ricky Stenhouse Jr.'s Cup Series career up to this point, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. has had a solid career. Not an amazing career by any stretch of imagination, but you have to remember that JTG Daugherty Racing is not the fastest organization in the world. And last year, they had their best year as an organization overall when they're able to go out and win the Daytona 500 and were able to run around the top 15 to 20 in points a majority of the season. On top of that as well, the performance there was really, really good. And I know that JT Daugherty and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. really like working together very, very well. So I'm not really surprised or shocked by this extension there, but I'm a little surprised because, like I said, of the rumors that Kroger could be leaving. And I had thought that maybe, like I said, that if Kroger left, that JTG Daugherty would shut down. Now, what does this mean for the future of JTG? Well, if Tad and Jody Gashagger still end up leaving, it could be the end for them, but with this ascension happening, it's probably not going to happen. But that is a team that is completely off the silly season market, and that means a charter is not going away from JTG Daugherty anytime soon, which means that that's one less team that could be selling a charter. We know that SHR's in conversations sell a couple charters at the end of this year, at least 1 to 2, and I would not be surprised or shocked if College Racing is a sell a charter, because there's a lot of teams that are looking to expand as well going into this upcoming season. 2311 Racing, I know Denny Hamlin's kind of stated they're not interested at the moment, but Denny Hamlin has probably wanted to expand for a while. They go after get some drivers that we don't know at this point. Maybe they go after Corey Heim, Chandler Smith, maybe they go get Kurt Busch out of retirement somehow, Carl Edwards out of retirement, or go get Eric Almirola. And then you have RFK Racing, who's also looking to expand. I thought maybe RFK would have been in the running to get the JT Daugherty charter because RFK and JTG apparently have worked together from my understanding. So obviously they could have gotten someone like a Haley Deegan up in the Cup Series in the future, or maybe get Matt DiBenedetto a chance. So Matt will probably stay with Viking Motorsports going into next year. And then, of course, you have the other options like Chase Briscoe and Cam Waters, among other drivers like Cole Custer, Riley Herbst as well. And then obviously you have Trackhouse Racing, who is also looking to expand going into next season. You've got, of course, Shane Van Gisbergen, who wants to go full-time next year. Connor Zillich doing a great job in the lower series. And then, of course, Ross and Daniel Suarez are currently under contract. And then even Junior Motorsports has been interested as well. It is going to be very interesting to see how that plays out. But going back to Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Ricky Stenhouse Jr., in my opinion, is not a bad race car driver. I know that he has struggled a lot in the Cup Series, but like I mentioned a second ago, he's not really been on a fast organization in his Cup Series career. And I think that if he stayed with JTG and tried to build that program up, I think that could be the way to go for him, because let's be real and honest with ourselves, right? JT Daugherty Racing is, like I said, not the best organization. They've been a top-tier team. And they, like I said, have had some success. They've won races with AJ Allmendinger. They nearly won races with Marcus Ambrose. And now they've got a chance to keep being successful with Ricky Stenhouse Jr. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens, though, with the Kroger selling. If Kroger does leave JTG, you got to ask yourself a lot of questions, right? Because we could see Kroger leave at the end of this year and go over to JGR. Which could change a lot of this stuff, because we've seen contract extensions happen and they don't go through. But the fact that they have signed his contract extension and the fact that they are keeping Ricky Stenhouse Jr. around for the next few years tells me that things might be getting a lot better going forward. But again, Kroger's its own different brand and funding, so we'll have to see what happens there. Nonetheless, I'm happy to see that Stenhouse at least is going to be in the Cup Series, because as much as I've sometimes clowned on Stenhouse in the past, I think Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is a solid race car driver. He's won 2 Xfinity Series championships, and I think it would have been cool to see him go back down to the Xfinity Series if he didn't have a ride for next year. But the fact that they were able to get this contract extension done is absolutely huge. And there's going to be a lot more silly season movement that's going to happen. Let's kind of talk about it. Like I said a minute ago, there's a lot of charter movement that's probably going to be happening once this charter agreement does get finalized. There's a lot of teams interested in expanding, like 2311 Racing and Trackhouse Racing, and even some teams that could sell like SHR. It's going to be very interesting to see what plays out there. But I like the fact that JTG likes Ricky Stenhouse Jr. They like what he's done at points so far, and I think it is a good move overall. Now, the question will be, can he get a lot more success out of that team? I don't know at this point. But they're one of the last single-car teams around. They sold off one of their other charters a few years ago, I think the Spire Motorsports, and they ran basically 2 cars, one that was open. So I think it makes a lot of sense to keep Ricky Stenhouse Jr. around, though. So I'm happy to see that Stenhouse at least has a ride for the 2025 season going forward, because while Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is still getting a little bit older, he's a little older compared to other Cup drivers, he still has a lot that he can succeed with in his NASCAR Cup Series career up to this point. So again, I'm happy for Ricky Stenhouse Jr. I'm glad to see he does have a seat. Expectations going forward, just improve for what you've done in the previous years and see what you can do going forward with your team. So nonetheless, once again, glad to see that Ricky Stenhouse Jr. does have a ride going forward toward the future, with JTG's future a little uncertain at the moment. Glad to see that Ricky Stenhouse Jr. has signed a multi-year contract extension with JTG. I hope he can have a lot of success going forward and go out there and contend for wins and contend for championships in the future if JTG can get his stuff together. For the rest of this year, just build on what you've done, do a lot better, and improve on your stuff. And run a lot better than you have this year, because they've had some good runs, but they've had a lot of bad runs so far this season. Hopefully they can improve and do better by the end of 2024. So that is going to be our today's special breaking news report. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notifications on, and if I win a video, it does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Let's go below that and comment your thoughts below on today's video. What are your thoughts about JTG Daugherty Racing signing Ricky Stenhouse Jr. for multiple years? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Tomorrow on the channel, we're going to have a NASCAR news video discussing news over the course of the last couple of days. We'll touch more on this Ricky Stenhouse Jr. story. We're also going to have a silly season update potentially dropping later this week with this announcement coming. And we're expecting a lot of major silly season moves to happen soon. If the races happen this weekend, we'll have race reviews. There's a lot of great content dropping that I cannot wait for you guys to check out. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more awesome NASCAR content, other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.